let's talk about recovery. We're going to talk about recovery. Recovery, you know. So if you don't know any alcoholics or addicts, this won't be of any interest to you. If you are an alcoholic or an addict, no matter where you are in your recovery or not in your recovery, this might be of interest to you. So here's my deal. I've spent a lot of time this last year really looking at all of the pieces in all of the current technology and all of that's available for recovery and all the therapies and I've really been making a study out of it. Now, as many of you know me, I've been in recovery for many many years, and sometimes um, the results have been better than others. I haven't always lived in bliss, but I've never had to go back out. I've never had to go back to drugs and alcohol, and so I mean that's kind of the lowest bar. There is such amazing peace available in life. There is such bliss available in life. There is such joy available in life. There's such love available in life that I to have the bar as low as, well, I never drank or I didn't use again, is low, but it's still amazing. It's a miracle because, for those of us who have kind of really gone to rode the garbage truck all the way to the dump, if you will, getting back, coming out of hell is quite something. And but I guess my message today is that we can have more. We can have, I've often referred to, when I talk to my sponsees, I say, you're at the banquet and the table is loaded. The banquet table is loaded. It's a metaphor. And the banquet table is loaded and you're still eating the scraps off the floor. So, it doesn't have to be that way. It's available for us. And I think recovery is available for everyone. I think that living a meaningful, purposeful, love-filled life is available for everyone. So that's my vision for you, is that with we have to want it, right? And we have to focus, and we have to do the work, to pay attention. We have to set the intention. This is my life. I live a sober life. I was talking to a guy yesterday who's in is kind of toying. I would say he's recovery curious, and but his life's not fun. He's drinking and burning through relationships and struggling sometimes with impaired driving charges and all of that stuff, but in a lot of pain. And sometimes thinking of suicide, and not fun. It's not fun. It's a terrible place to be. And yet he's like so afraid that, you know, what will recovery look like? It seems boring. uh, oh, well. Anyway, but there's hope. There's always hope. And I think there's hope for him. I really think that, for him to see, for him to recognize that it is possible and that it isn't boring, that, life in recovery can be such, can be amazing. It really can be. So that's my message for today. Recovery is possible. You can't have it by just wanting it. You have to, really, really friggin' want it, and make it. It has to be a priority. Like, it has to be a priority. It's like, oh my gosh, this is really important, and because we want to recover mentally and spiritually and emotionally, and there's some work required, but the path is clear. All right, there is a path. It is clear, and it's not as arduous as you think, but there is a path, and we can have a meaningful, useful, productive, life, living in our full potential, and be the dads that we want to be, or the moms that we want to be, or we can show up, and all of the guilt and shame can melt away. It can all be taken away. So that's the good news. Recovery is possible. A life of beyond our wildest dreams is possible. Living in the fourth dimension, happy, joyous, and free, is literally possible. So I'm here to give you that news, and I'm available if you want to talk anytime. I'm available. I've been just, this started out last May. I picked up this little book, the 24-hour day book, and we were in the very first of May. But I think I was thinking about it in April last year. I was thinking, what can I do? What can I do to kind of reach out to people? Because at that time, hundreds and hundreds, most of us were kind of locked down. It was early lockdown days, and we didn't know what was going on with this COVID thing, and we were scared, and I mean, we just didn't know. People were, remember, uh, there was a run on toilet paper, and the grocery stores were getting cleaned out, and all of that kind of stuff. So, and I wanted to bring something to you guys, that was just consistent. And so I started reading this 24-hour day book online every day, and really the purpose for me is just to bring something consistent to my friends, to people in recovery, to people who are not in recovery. If you're a family of somebody in recovery, you know how much hell that can be. It's difficult, and I've really opened my heart a lot, to the families, because I recognize how hard it is when you have a son or a daughter or a husband who isn't sober, who you're in fear about. So I this message is for you too. you know and because recovery isn't just for the addict and the alcoholic. Recovery is for the family as well. You can live a life that's happy, joyous, and free. You can live in peace. You can live in a sense of connection to love. And where there was fear, there can be love. So I'm here for you as well, and the message is for you. So I'm going to read this little book here. This is written in 1954, so it's old, in a way. 54 it was published. I think it was written, some of it was written in the 40s. This took a while. So March 18th, thought for the day. When a man, and mostly at those times they talk about men, but when I say man, I mean man and woman. But this was written, like I say, in the 50s, and it was a different world, right? This little book, by the way, was, it was I would think one of the early publishings, because it says price, and the inside of it, it says price $1.50. 24 hours a day, P.O. Box 2170, Daytona Beach, Florida. So this is, um, you know, this is kind of the very beginning of it, and it's kind of beautiful. So there we go. March 18th, when a man comes into the 12 steps, or in this case it says into AA, and faces the fact that he must spend the rest of his life without alcohol, without liquor, without drugs, it often looks like too big an order for him. I get that, right? Um, and It often looks like too big an order for him. Yes, it is. I mean, it is. We can't even imagine. By the time I got to the 12-step program, I had tried to, quit drinking. A number of times. I had tried to change my life a number of times, and I was always turning over the new slate, right? But it was a blank slate, so I kept filling it up with my old, way of thinking, my old fear way of thinking. So I needed a program. I needed something to live by. I needed something that somebody else had proven would work, and that's when I discovered that with the 12 steps, that it was a simple program that could help me to get online and stay online. Okay, it often looks like too big an order for him. So the 12 step tells him to forget about the future and bite it off one day at a time. Yes, all we really have is now. We have no past time or no future time. So isn't that beautiful? All we really have is now. You know, and Eckhart Tolle writes The Power of Now years later. But, here they were talking about it. It really was, breaking time up into small packages, is the way it works. If tough things are tough, this is some of the techniques that they give us in the kind of in the 12-step design for living. And there are lots of suggestions for daily living that keep us out of trouble if we digest them and start to live by them. You know, so we have no past and no future. As the saying goes, yesterday is gone, forget it. Tomorrow never comes, don't worry. Today is here, get busy. All we have is the present. The past is water over the dam, and the future never comes. When tomorrow gets here, will be today. When tomorrow gets here, will be today. So that's beautiful, isn't it? And Rebecca, hi, honey. So, so that's the deal. That is the deal. Meditation for the day. Persistence is necessary. So yes, and it's funny because this really works with what I said earlier, that recovery is possible. We can't have it by just wanting it. We have to really friggin' want it. How important is our mental, emotional, and spiritual sanity? Recovery is a paradigm shift. Work and attention is required. Once the shift has occurred, focus, attention, intention, and effort are required to live in the new state. It is possible, I believe, for everyone. And that's what he's saying here. Persistence is necessary if you are to advance in spiritual things. By persistent prayer, persistent, firm, and simple trust, you achieve the treasures of the Spirit. Isn't that beautiful? By persistent practice, you can eventually obtain joy, peace, assurance, security, health, happiness, and serenity. Yes, nothing is too great in the spiritual realm for you to obtain through persistently preparing yourself for it. That's it. Paradigm shift, baby. Like totally. We go from being imprisoned to freedom, to literal freedom. What could be boring about freedom? I was just mentioning that one of my newcomers was worried about, how would life be sober, but boring. Boring, nothing. It's exciting. I pray that I may persistently carry out my spiritual exercises every day. I pray that I may strive for peace and serenity. Yes. So that's the intention. Attention, intention. It's beautiful. So it's beautiful. Okay. So it's possible, and and it's probable if we want it and we're willing to do the work. Okay. So we're going to do a little meditation, just like really short, but there's a reason for this. Even forget the idea of calling it meditation. Let's just sit. So be still, be quiet. Discover your inner self by being quiet. Okay? Just drop in. So close your eyes. We're going to just take 3 or 4 minutes. It's not going to be long. Drop in. Close your eyes. Be here now, and now, and now, and now. Just see if it's possible to let go of our thoughts. I know we have thousands of thoughts they're just always rolling, and thoughts create feelings, right? And so just we're going to practice not paying attention to them, just letting them go, not not pushing them away, not doing anything with them, just letting them go, not paying attention to them. Be here now. Be in your body. Be in your breath. This is this is it. Drop in. Watch your thoughts. You start to recognize that you are not your thoughts. We start to see that shift happens. One of the fundamental shifts that happens in recovery. So we go from, you know, a fear based, what's in it for me idea to a love based, how can I help the idea. It's a huge paradigm shift, but it's fundamental. Fundamental. We get to the 12th step in the recovery program, and it's all about helping others. And it really relieves the burden of who we have been pretending to be. It's beautiful. So practice this every day. Just drop in, even for 3 or 4 minutes. Just make it a like a routine. You know, pretty soon 30 days have gone by, and 60 days have gone by, and it just becomes part of your, your routine, your practice, to just be still and listen and breathe. And we're lifted up because at our core, our natural core is love, not fear. And as we develop and access that core, we access that love. We become that love. We are that love. But we have to slow down enough to experience it. And love can be our higher power. Love, God is love. Okay, love you lots. Also love it if you subscribe to me on YouTube. All right. Okay, love you guys. Having fun with building my YouTube.